Hey guys, it's Lee from RightLane Reviews, and this is my unscripted first impressions on the brand new Ford Puma. Alright, so let's talk a little bit about what this car is. This car is supposed to be Ford's entry into the little compact SUV market. Some of you may remember the EcoSport. I hope most of you have forgotten it because it's dead. Finally. That was a horrible car, and I'm so glad they got rid of it. First impressions of the cabin right off the bat. It's very Ford, in a good way. There's some really nice touches. We have the ST Line V this week, which is kind of the top spec Puma. This one's fully loaded with everything you can possibly get. And you have a nice wheel. I do like Ford's steering wheel. It's thin, but fits well in the hand. It's not too thin. It has a little bit of a flat bottom in this ST Line version. You get a full digital dash directly in front of you, which I really like, and it looks really good. Center display is reasonable size, pretty much the same as most small SUVs. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, as well as Ford Sync 3 system. I think most people will probably just use Apple CarPlay because it's the best to go. We have some carbon effect touch points around, some nice like stitched leather around as well. These really nice designed quilted seats. I like the design. The seats themselves are okay, fairly average, but I do really like the design and kind of cool trim all the way around. I mean, it seems to be well laid out, and despite the fact that the infotainment screen is still skewed away from the driver, it's fine. So let's get out on some streets here and see how the little Puma does. You can see out of it really well, actually. Right up front, because the front kind of slopes away, you can see where to place the car, and it feels pretty good in the hand. I do like the steering. Being an electric system, it's definitely obviously electric assisted, but it's not overly weighted. It actually feels pretty good, and the car's quite nimble. In the ST Line and the ST Line V, you get a sport suspension setup, which is good. I like that. Their tagline for this car is not just another city SUV, or not just a city SUV, I think is how they put it. And I'm expecting a lot out of it. I have a very high expectation for this car for the sheer fact that it has been raved about in Europe. I mean, absolutely raved about. And people love them, and I can see why. It's a great, simple layout. It feels good in the hand so far. I can see why your first impressions at a dealership, which is why we do these videos, would be of a great car. So I'm interested to see how it lives up to surviving in Melbourne in this week. I mean, it does have to deal with city streets, and it has to deal with me as its driver for the entire week, which, you know, can make or break some cars. And I want to see what this little Puma's got. So let's find sport mode. So there's sport mode. Ooh, the dash kind of changes up. And we're going to give it the boot. I'm just going to wait. And then let's go. All right. So it's got a decent amount of torque. Yeah, it's got a decent amount of torque. It's nothing. I wouldn't write home about it. I don't think it's any less powerful than the T-Cross. So out on the open road, this car feels perfectly fine. This stiff suspension is a little bit bouncy on the freeway, but beyond that, it feels pretty good. It's not unstable at freeway speeds. It feels nice in the hands. It feels like it's supposed to be there, and it's relatively quiet. I will say I think it drives better than a CX-3. So, sorry, Mazda. I actually quite like the way this car looks. So when you give it a name like Puma, you kind of expect the car to be light on its feet and aggressive and kind of fiery, and it doesn't ooze anything overly aggressive, but it looks good. It looks cute without looking too cute. There's some cars out there that look a little too cute. All right. Oh yeah, and sport's a bit punchier. Definitely feels a bit better. That's the preferred setting for me, sport. This little 1 liter though kind of sounds good for a little 3-cylinder, but it almost sounds like an angry little vacuum. Somebody made the Dyson. Somebody pissed off the Dyson. Grr, I miss some M&Ms on the floor. Yeah, it's endearing. It's endearing in sport mode. It's not endearing in normal mode, that's for sure. So what's my final thoughts on my first impressions with this Ford Puma? Well, it's a bit quirky, and I do like a quirky car, but we'll see if this sort of quirky works for me. It's quite light and it feels a bit more sporty than some of the smaller compact SUVs, and I reckon it could be a good start. So we'll find out over the next few weeks, or next few days really. Thanks for watching, and as always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel below. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at RightLaneLee, and I'll see you around. It's like, what am I doing? I'm a dual clutch. Yeah. Just put it in gear, mate.